Hey guys, welcome Musky Road Rules podcast and Patreon. Guys, I am excited and happy to have you guys all tuning in right now. For you guys that have elected to become a member of the Patreon, I do appreciate that. And for the yous that haven't, why the hell not? Easy platform. You get to see everything that we're doing. You get to see what all these guys look like that I'm talking to. And let me tell you, that's not the best sometimes. It's usually me. People say, do you use a filter? I go, yes, it's a charcoal one on my head. But it's easy to do. You go to patreon.com, Patreon.com, and just search Musky Road Rolls. You can go there, become a member. Got 2 different categories. Super easy. And not only do you get the current episode, but you get access to every episode that we've done leading up to this point. So it's a pretty good little deal. So, and tonight I've got on here a couple of guys from up north that I've had on before, but we have got the opener for Wisconsin coming up here, and I have got Mr. Clayton Spiess and Gus Mantey on the line right now. Guys, how's it going up in Wisconsin?
Good.
Going good.
What so kind of give us a little rundown here. When did fishing season start in Wisconsin? When did everything get going?
We had ice off in I don't know, small lakes mid to third week of April, and then third week and just beyond we had ice off on just about every other lake. And then game fish season, when like the pike and walleye opened up, was the first Saturday of May. So there's been people out and about on the lakes here for, a couple of weeks now. But like you said, Musky's coming up in what is it? 8 days. 7 or 8 days. So
Well,
things are shaping up well.
That's fun. Clayton, have you been on the water yet, or you had a chance to do any walleye fishing or anything?
I got out on opening weekend, fished probably a good half a day on Saturday, and then Sunday fished a few hours in the morning and then again in the evening. And It was really good.
All right. So how are the lakes looking up there? Everything warming up the way it should be? The weeds look good? Anything out of the ordinary?
So far, not too much out of the ordinary. I'd say the weeds are on par. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to gauge because last year was so crazy with the extremely early ice off and no snow. So like lakes had beautiful green weeds before they kind of ever have, it seemed like. So this year it's progressing normal.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely noticed, the weeds being down a little bit more than normal, but every time you found good weeds, you found walleyes, the panfish and bass and pike and all that stuff. But things heated up quickly. We had, as soon as the ice came out, I think it was kind of cold, dreary, rainy. And then out of nowhere, we went flat calm and sunny and upper 70s to low to mid 80s for just over 2 weeks straight, with a little bit of wind too. And I think it really accelerated the lakes up here into like hyperdrive. I don't know why I said hypo, but
It's a wonderful word.
It's a word now. But I've been seeing muskies constantly for the past 2 weeks up shallow. Many doing their thing. I've taken some videos of them. A lot of them are just cruising. I haven't seen personally a ton of females. I was just on a super deep, clear lake not long ago, and there was a big female like in 7 feet of water. It looked like it was not doing a whole lot. And then there was some fish in like inches of water. I don't know. It's been kind of all over the place. I've seen as low in the last week 55 degrees, and I've seen as warm as 72 on some lakes already. So it's kind of all over the place. I think all the shallow.
I like to belch too.
Small. It's like I don't even know. I think a lot of the small to medium stuff up north is done.
Yeah.
I think we got through the spawn really well. There might be some hiccups in some of the larger systems, though.
Like you just did.
Yep.
That is kind of normal, though. really. I mean,
It is normal.
having the variety of lakes around here that we do, the fish don't all spawn and the lakes don't all warm up at the same time. So the deep
Sure.
clear ones are always a little bit later. So it is kind of seemed like a normal spring.
It's
Yeah.
normal.
That'll be good. Now you guys are going to get this big cold front, right? That's coming through. I know in the angle at the time of us recording this, we're supposed to dip down. I'm in Kentucky still, and will be for a couple of weeks. But up there, they're going to be down in the 30s tomorrow, which is totally stupid.
Ugh. Yikes.
And after being literally in the 90s 2 days ago. It's a pretty wild, super big cold front thing rotating over top of the north there. I mean, in Kentucky, we're still going to be nice. It's actually, it's going to be really nice. It's going to be in the 70s, and we're not going to be up in the crazy, that we had some really warm temps. Now, next week, I seen one day might be a high around 60, so it'll cool down some, but nothing too outlandish, and should be decent by the weekend. And your all's opener, what is the date on your opener this year?
It's the 24th.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What where are you guys planning on starting the season out? We'll start with you, Gus.
I'm gonna start it out right here in northern Wisconsin, Wilson, Oneida County. I think so. I'm gonna fish with my brother and then good friend Brian and another good buddy Jack. We're gonna run four wide, and we're gonna kind of do what we did last year, where we just hop a ton of systems and cast a lot of baits, throw the kitchen sink at them, and find what system's going. Because with this weather, with the variations of the spawn up here, there could be one lake that is just terrible and they're maybe still in the spawn or they're in a funk, and you could have the same weather and go to the neighbor lake and catch fish. So we're going to make sure we're on the move, and we're not counting out the really big lakes, but we're definitely going to start with our pattern of stained water, shallow, and connected to, creeks and river systems to try and find some moving water. That's our goal.
Sure. Clayton, what are you doing?
I'm heading down to Green Bay to go fish with a couple friends down there for the weekend, spend a 3-day weekend down there. Been kind of doing that for the most part for the last 4 or 5 years. I think I missed 1 year or something, but yeah, that's super fun.
How's now the Green Bay opener is always, I just heard stories about it being very, very, very busy. From in your opinion, is it super crazy, or is it kind of just, there's a lot of water so you can fish it?
Yeah, there's definitely like some of the tributaries of Fox River and stuff get slammed with boats, especially on opener. It is what it is. You kind of hop in line for a lot of the stuff, try some different baits, different cast angles, but it is a lot about timing in there. And most people are pretty courteous, and everyone's kind of knows the program down there. So we keep your distance away from each other, depending on which direction you're working, and everyone's cordial. In fact, everyone's always talking like, oh yeah, like we got one, a little bit ago, or, have you seen anything yet? Kind of giving up tips and, without giving away exactly what they're going on and stuff, but everyone knows the fish are in there. They know that there's a great chance at a giant, in there. But it just is what it is. If you're okay with dealing with the people, I feel like they're not as crazy as the walleye fishermen, because walleye guys will just go right up and basically park right next to you where you can't even make a cast. Like, I've never had an issue where another boat got so close to me that I couldn't cast anymore, without just going around me or something and continuing on. It's not like nobody ties up right behind you or, or pigtails you around. It is what it is. But it's super fun. Plus there's that better chance of super mega down there than there is up here. And it's just a great fun weekend before I really get rolling into guiding to where I can get away and fish with some friends.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Let's talk here with opener coming up. I ask you guys to pick like 3 baits, and we're gonna go over those and can we tell a little bit why you like the baits and why this is a good early season bait for you. So we'll get we're gonna do the Gus, you're not old enough, but Clayton might be if you used to watch The Price is Right, or no, Wheel of Fortune. When they go to
Reruns.
when they go to the
That's
room,
ours.
the old room, and they like pick stuff out. I'll take the jug made out of glass for 400. And oh, is that a gas powered cross over there? Yes. Okay, I'll take one of those. And yes, so this is some of my favorite views. And Gus, I still love the sled. That is still one of my favorite decorations in your place. Is the sled.
We love to go sledding up here.
We are a sledding family, baby.
That's like collecting dust.
No, I can see you out there, top with a toboggan on and a hill, and it is a good time in the north.
A down onesie. I was just about to say that.
A down onesie,
all purple and turquoise.
Yeah, and some cocoa. And you have
got some earmuffs on.
Yes, yeah, you know it. We've watched the same Lifetime movies. It really is good. Yeah, there's a festival. There's a girl that's divorced, and you come back to town, and it's all gets together. That's the plot of.
And then they go sledding.
Yep, that's the plot of every Lifetime movie. Right there. There's sledding in it, and a Christmas tree, and an old guy, and a woman that's nosy. That is a Lifetime movie right there. Anyway, I don't know why you got me off on this subject.
Yeah, let's get back to Muskies, eh?
We'll start talking about my quitting. I'm quitting Zins. You know the Zins thing. Yes.
Yeah. Now what are you going to?
Nothing. Food.
You start vaping?
I quit like a week ago, and I literally, if I see a piece of soap in front of me, I'm like, oh, I bet that's good. And I'm eating like ridiculous amounts. It's unbelievable. I don't know if
my goodness.
Look at me. I mean, I look swollen. It's because I'm fucking fat, and yeah.
Oh, I thought you were working out.
Yeah, I am. I've been eating a lot of
a lot of Quaker oats.
No, there's no Quake in
raw
here.
Eggs.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
No,
anyway, let's talk about a bait. Shut up. Spiess. I watched a movie one time that they were talking to the one lady. No, I was watching a movie. The lady goes, she goes, you can call me Spiess, like the Spice Girls. Spiess. She goes, just don't write it down because it looks like hospice.
Oh.
It really made me laugh.
All right, Gregg, stop. Snap to it.
Okay. All right. Let's talk this. What do you got there? What are you jerking or pulling on?
You got the jerking. Got the hammer jerk.
All right. So
is a hammer.
This is the hammer.
The hammer jerk made by our good buddy Nick Ambrose, Hammer Customs Lures. So this is a dive and rise. You can see the lip kind of angled down, but it has a tunable tail, just like a Suic, and it has a adjustable weight in it, which I have been running it a little heavier than what he comes with. It looks really cool without a weight. When you twitch it, it's a little squirrely, but I've been liking it with the extra weight, and working it slightly different than like a Suic or a Navin or something of that nature. It's more of like a pull, and then you can give it some snaps, but where it really shines is that this bait actually wiggles like a crankbait on the way down.
Well, I've got a video. Yeah, I've got a video of it here that you sent me, and it's the one of the figure 8 fish. So I'm going to bring it up.
Yes.
And
so to preface this one you can start at like 3 or just before 3 minutes, Gregg.
Hold on. Don't get
I'm fishing with my good buddy Taylor Flannery, and he actually. Oh wait, no, this is the other one. This is the one out in the cast, but this will do.
Oh no, let's do the other one. There.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna turn you down because shut up.
So yeah, fishing with Taylor Flannery. He actually gets this fish up on a Bam Bam in the figure 8, and it tries to eat. And we slowed down his footage. The fish like grabbed the tails or something stupid, and as soon as he missed it, I just started figure 8ing next to him, and then gave it a death pause, and it came up and smoked it. So.
Yeah, you can see the bait as it's coming in. It's definitely got that
wiggle,
the wiggle waggle to it.
The wiggle on the jerk.
Yeah. So I mean, it's now you're jerking that up some too. Is that bait gonna?
We were casting very shallow there, so I wanted to keep it to go side to side. When you actually uprip that one, it darts really far to the side. You got to be a little careful. So here, yeah, it tried to eat that first corner. And then I don't know where it went or why it went to the front. For some reason, these fish were going. They loved like wooden jerk baits. I think I'm like, oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah, you got it following, and then you pause. Boom.
Boom.
That was a good, and you didn't screw it up. Good job.
That's true. I was really happy about that. Because at that time, I think I already screwed up 2, maybe. So in the last 2 days. So.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, you can see the bait as it's coming in there. It does have that nice little wiggle. And how long has Nick been making these?
What would you say, Clayton? 3 years on these?
Yeah.
On the hammer jerk specific.
This will be the 3rd season with them.
Yeah.
So it would have been the winter of, over 3 years ago. But yeah, 3rd season now.
Yeah. So one cool thing about it that he does is that actually on his back adjustable weight, he screws it in so that even if you do catch, a ton of fish on it or it hits some rocks or something like that, the tail is going to stay in place. Like this bait, I think has just over a dozen fish on it, and I can wiggle the back tail because it's hit stuff or whatever, but this will not come off because there's a screw that runs through there, and that makes it nice. So you can re-epoxy whenever you want or put a sealant on it and keep running it.
No, that's cool. You also got another this dude here, another strike that you had on it. This looks like a bigger fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just slow pulls. We worked the spot a deep rock point, much deeper than we did the first go around.
What was the water temperature here on this lake? It's real clear water.
59, I want to say 60.
Oh, okay.
So they're post spawn. It was down in Iowa. We got word that the muskies spawned like, I don't know, weeks before that. Every single fish we pretty much encountered, except for one, had scars on it.
Okay.
And most fish were actually in transition areas to main lake. So they were for sure a week or 2 at minimum out of the spawn.
Yeah. No, well, cool deal. So we got the hammer jerk is one of the ones to do. Clayton, what about you? What's going to be one of your first go-tos?
Well, that really depends on if we're going to, I guess, on which tributary or what color the water is. A bait that I've used down there, especially on the Fox or when the water's really dirty, I always start off with Hunzy Tail Banger. This is just a single 7/8. He tied this one up for me because the first time I was down there in Green Bay, I had a similar homemade one in this color, and I'd caught one fish on it, and I asked him to make me one of these, and he gave it to me. This was 2 years ago. I got a video for opening day on my YouTube channel showing one of the fish that we got on it, but I caught 3 fish basically all around other people in the Fox, the smallest one was probably 41, biggest was like 45 or something like that. But they definitely were keying in on this more than they were anybody else's stuff. It seemed like I by far had more action than anybody that we had talked to out there. But it's just a bucktail. It does have the pin in the back and a willow blade. You can see that, and it ticks and makes like a ticking sound. A little bit random because it doesn't spin the same all the time. So every once in a while, the wire will swing in and hit the willow blade and bounce back out. So it's a complete random noise in the back. And then he also puts a sleeve, a leader sleeve or whatever underneath the blades, which makes a grinding noise. The more fish you catch on them, the longer you use them, the more that they get loud and noise that they make in the water. This might be typically for me a little bit too long to start off with. For most openers up north, I would probably go to maybe like a single 8 or something like that, single skirt for up north or whatever. And in the springtime or for the first opening weekend or week or whatever, anyways, before I would go to something a little bit longer, I'll wait a little bit longer. For some reason, they like shorter baits up in our area up here, but definitely this works great down in Green Bay and cloudy water. So I'd start with that.
All right. Next,
Gus.
Do
you want? So should I show you what I would use in clear water then? Probably.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. So if we go to clean water, ultra clear, these fish are a lot more finicky down there. I don't know what it is, but I'm probably gonna be ripping rubber to start off with. And this year I haven't necessarily caught fish on this yet because I just got these from Red October, but it's like a super short, smaller than the Ninja Tube. I think this is like 3.5 inches long, and I'm gonna almost hop that around like a jig. If there's no weeds on the bottom and like it's just rocky or sandy or whatever, then I'll actually let that go on the bottom and I'll just kind of bounce it off the bottom. The fish will pick these tubes up and eat them right off the bottom if they're not actually chasing super hot and heavy. And that really just depends on how far past the spawn they are and how aggressive the fish are. So I'll probably start off with hopping it pretty good, kind of fast. And then if as things slow down or if the fish aren't really going so much, then I'll slow it down and actually almost work it like a tube and just kind of bounce it along off the bottom. Try and get it in front of the fish's face, let it sit there and give them a second to try and pick it up. But this is a nice, cool little micro tube. Really excited to be using it. Red October does not have any harnesses for this yet. I ended up making my own out of some wire and a jig, put one together, but pretty excited about that.
No, should be a good deal. I've seen those at a couple of shows. Definitely a cool little thing. So Gus, what's yours?
So my next one, let's see. I'll stick on the blades program. Like Clayton said, up in northern Wisconsin, they're going to be going on smaller stuff. He's definitely right. Going to a single blade. We don't personally get a ton of action on blades, but we always seem to get a fish to go around sunset or more of like a peak time on a single blade. And literally just about every year, it's always like the same one. It's always a Mepps, either Musky killer or giant killer, black and orange, most likely is typically, or like a gold blade, an orange or something like that. Something shiny if you're in slightly clearer water, or the black and orange if you're in like a tannic or a green or some sort of stained system. But the single blades are deadly. I'd even categorize this one that's a little bit unorthodox. We call it, I have no idea what the hell they're called, but we just call it the grub spinner. It's literally just a twister tail. It's a giant beetle spin. That's all it is.
Isn't that Shumway's hothead?
It could be. I couldn't even tell you. I think we got this at a show or a shop or something, but this one's been kind of like a silent killer in the back of the boat, or if they're going on blades but not committing.
Looks like an old Jimmy's masturbator. You ever hear those, the spinner baits? When I worked at Guide's Choice when I was like in high school, so this is a long time ago.
I'd like to get to know Jimmy.
Yeah, right.
Whoa.
Hey, jeez. That's what that reminds me of. I think I have one of those hanging on the wall, and that's that grub tail.
Yeah, they're deadly. The only thing you got to watch for is sharpening. It only comes with the one hook, and if you over sharpen the hook, you got to find another jig head.
Yeah.
And I probably could replace this one. This hook is a little dull, and this jig head is a little heavy anyways. I remember it gets a little too many weeds depending on how deep we want to throw it in. But that's kind of the deadly little, single blade tactics. It's not a huge secret, but one that I am kind of excited about that I think Northwoods people are using it. I never did right away, and I think it's kind of cool that they made it. So Smitty recreated the Wizard again, the Rizzo Wiz, but then they came out with this. This one's hard to see, but I'm gonna grab a different one. The black nickel is. And I'm back. So it's got the tube in the middle, but then it has the skirt like a normal blade, and then it's a little single 7 on a crimp sleeve to make it grind more. I'm very excited to use this. We
It
all
looks like
saw
it's made out of your beard hair.
it kind of just blends right in.
It does.
Thank you, Greg.
Anytime.
No, I can always count on you for a compliment of some kind. I'm excited because a single 8 was very good last year. For a lot of people up here in the Northwoods, I think Clayton can agree in that way. Like a single 7, single 8, Colorado was good pretty much up until. I mean, it never went away, but it was very good up until basically like 4th of July. So this is not only just a good opener, small bait. It's definitely kind of deadly and overlooked when the water gets warmer as well. And
that was something I was going to ask on all these baits. Are these things that you guys are going to throw throughout the season, or is this just like an opener deal for you guys?
No, this is a year-round thing. We've caught many like in August, September, every month. I could probably just go through every month, honestly. Once the water gets warmer, I think we generally tend to start with bigger blades. And if you don't get a lot of feedback pretty quickly, it's pretty evident that they're not that fired up yet, especially if you're not getting them on rubber or something. If they're not going to fly after rubber either, you probably got to downsize. And I also have seen, and I probably said this many times, is the single blades, especially like a Mepps Giant Killer, is one of my favorite castback baits. If you have a fired up fish that just isn't committing on what you're using, I tend to just have that ready on a rod, or at least a small rod ready to throw the single blades on.
Cool. All right. What's your next one there, Clayton?
All right, so I got 2 different baits, but they're the same style. And again, this is going to be like kind of water dependent, clear water. I had one of these. This is another Hammer Customs bait. This is his sledgehammer, which he did not have at the shows this year, but I think he's going to have them back at the shows this next year. He's going to start making these again because they're a pretty big hit. But I contacted a pile of fish on these last year. Yeah, Gus has one
too.
One of the neat things about this, I mean, there's a lot of wooden twitch bait, crankbaits out there that all work really well. But one thing that's super cool about this one is that it has the ability to weight it down, and you can, weight it to where it suspends, to where it sinks. You can do it however you want. And it does change the action a little bit, but the action on these is just flipping awesome. And I think this one has a rattle in it, so it makes a little noise too, which is super cool. So yeah, I'll definitely be tossing that one around. And then if I'm on ultra cloudier water, this is a new bait that I've only gotten to pool test so far. Kramer makes these. We saw these at the shows. This is a lot louder bait, has a lot more rattles in it. This thing walks around, dances, glides, does anything and everything that you want. I think it's almost suspending too, maybe slightly rising.
Slow rise.
Slow
It's pretty
rise.
slow though. It's pretty
Yeah.
slow.
So you'll want to, if you're fishing really shallow, you're going to want to work it pretty slow or rip it up instead of, down or to the side. That'll keep it a little higher in the water column. You can get it deeper. You can crank it down a little bit and then start ripping it if you're in like 7 or 8 feet and like deeper weed edge or something. If you're after fish that are way past the spawn and maybe out a little bit deeper. Typical kind of like a perchy orange belly pattern again for dark water down. Green Bay fish love. I mean, they feed on perch like crazy down there. So I feel like this is going to be a great color down there, especially in the Fox. If you don't have one of these, you can get them at Team Rhino, I think. Had some. I don't know if they still do or not, but that'd be about the only spot I know of that has these right now. Yeah.
Sure. All right, Gus, what's your next?
So the next is the main one that we've caught many fish on and throughout the year too, but opener, it just seems to be that staple is a swimming dog. So, everybody knows what a swimming dog looks like. And honestly, our way to use them, which I think a lot of people do use, is just a straight up straight retrieve. That's kind of our go-to. It seems boring, but it always seems to clean up at least a fish or two in like the opening weekend or opening week and then continue to stay good. But one thing while down in Iowa that I noticed with a boot tail bait is that if we get a little more fired up fish here, northern Wisconsin, especially if we have slightly warmer water and we're past the spawn and they get back going, I think the boot tail of the new Bam Bam swim fin, I really like this down in Iowa. Already have some great confidence in it, raised many fish and caught a couple. I'm pumped to use that one. That one is kind of just like it's kind of like how the pit bull came out and it started catching fish immediately because it had that heavy head. It started darting left and right. It did everything you want a rubber bait to do out of the box without having to tune it. And this one falls in that category. So I could see this one being a real winner for kind of a while and a staple in the boat for sure. I mean, Clayton knows when we got him after the show, we went down to whatever open water we could find in like end of March or whatever. And yeah, Clayton already has one showing. And
There you go.
we all ripped it and we all like looked at each other and just pretty much shook our heads like, yeah, we know this.
Maybe even started giggling a lot too, probably.
Yeah,
Does
maybe
it have a
probably.
lot of so that tail really moves some water?
Yeah, so you can see in this unicorn color that the heavy head in the front, well, maybe slightly. Either way, it's head weighted, so it's not. I wouldn't say it's a popular straight retrieve, at least for us in the Northwoods. I'd still prefer a swimming dog if I want a straight retrieve, but this for pull pause, I know we noticed right away that this tail never stops moving. You pull it up, and as soon as it starts, even as soon as it's just starting to go down, that tail is just wiggling back and forth and back and forth. And then the rest of the action comes from it darting left and right. And it looks phenomenal with uprips. You can slow sweep it to the side, but you honestly, I think you have to uprip it to give it some of the action that you're kind of looking for to get the bites.
Cool. All right, Clayton, what do you
Yeah, that also will be a bait in my boat all year round too. So that's not just an opener bait. That's going to be used all the way through until ice up. Honestly, I love ripping paddle tails. There aren't too many out there on the market where you can actually rip them. Most of them are meant for swimming. And even though it's called a swim fin, this thing absolutely shines when you're ripping. But my next bait that I will probably be using on opener. Really got a thing here for the Hammer Customs, but here's another Hammer Customs.
That's a hammer.
That's a hammer. This is one that he doesn't really make at all for the shows. He calls this one the Fill 2.0 because it's got some fins in the back, but the fill works just as well. And if you went to any of the shows or talked to Nick or saw anything on YouTube, you'd see that there was like a 56 caught on it on opening week down there in Green Bay by one of our good buddies. So this bait is proven down there. It definitely works. You can't go wrong with a glide bait early season. Got to slow things down a little bit. One thing, that a lot of people have probably said, and I can't stress enough, is don't get into a rhythm when you're working a glide bait. Like, keep mixing it up. You can go with, a rhythmic, 3 or 4 pulls, but then give it a good long, pause if you can without getting it in the wood or in the weeds or anything, and then keep going, or speed it up and then slow it back down. Give it one good hard pop and get to send way off to the side and turn sideways. These baits have a lot of weight actually in the middle of the bait. He drills them out and puts weight in the middle, which gives them an awesome belly roll as they sink too. So that long pause, that bait doesn't just sit there. It doesn't just fall. It actually goes back and forth like this. And any kind of flash that he puts on that bait just makes that thing shine as it sinks down a little ways. And that definitely seems to trigger a lot of hits. So I will be definitely using this one next weekend.
Now, do you like the glide baits in dirtier water more than in clear water?
No, that's not going to matter at all. Honestly, I have a few different colors of his baits, but I love that white with the gold stripes on it for any color water. That bait that's been great on any lake that I've thrown it on, or I've, contacted fish on if I've used it long enough. So, I don't necessarily know if it's a color thing. It's more of like a style of what those fish are looking for at the time.
Sure. No, I get it. Gus, what is I'll ask you this too, Clayton. What is color a big deal for you early in the season, or does it go by lake, or do you have like a favorite color for early season?
Lake is definitely a thing. We have our favorite colors for certain lakes. I think as soon as we get to a stained lake, I think we gravitate towards chartreuses, oranges, kind of gaudy stuff early in the year. I really don't mind getting kind of, gnarly with the bait color. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm more concerned about the action and the baits moving, other than straight retrieve, moving quick, but not far, if that makes sense. Like a glide bait where it's moving back and forth quick, depending
Like
on
me
how fast
running.
you work it. Yeah, it looks like you're going really fast, but you're not going very far.
Exactly. I go super fast for a short distance.
Sorry.
Yep. I mean, when I get going, it's exciting. I've been written about.
Oh,
It's
nice.
known.
So,
It's also
I haven't
my
seen
dating profile.
a big,
Goes fast, not far.
But if the jeez. If the if the water's a little bit cleaner, I do like some sort of gold or nickel flash or copper, just the top 3. Just a little bit of a shimmy out there, whether it's from a blade or from a holographic side of a crankbait. I don't know why. I think it's just a me thing, but I haven't had a ton of luck on crankbaits with heavy BBs up north, especially in cleaner water. I like a little bit more of a silent bait, like the more silent glide baits with just a twister tail, or just a hook for a tail. And I don't know. I haven't. It's hard to say. It's opener, and I think everybody agrees with this. Is some people it's their first time getting out. For me, it's probably gonna still feel like the first time getting out, and I'm gonna throw everything just because I want to see everything you got at the shows, and it's gonna be fun to look at all the colors and and then all of a sudden maybe a fish will eat one, and then that'll be the bait I throw for the next 2 days. So I think kitchen sink. That's my color.
Nice. What about you there, Clayton?
So I probably, if I was to go with a color, I would be trying to maybe match the hatch or whatever bait fish those muskies might be feeding on after the spawn. If they're feeding on perch, or if they're feeding on maybe suckers or something that are just finishing up their spawn. I'd go with like those kind of natural-ish colors. For rubber, let's just say for like rubber, I would always maybe gravitate towards black or darker colors for whatever reason. That's where I'm going to start, and I'll always run that first before I start switching it up and go into brighter stuff. When it comes to like dive rise, twitch baits, and even blades, then I'll maybe go for more of like a hatch, match the hatch, or then I'll go brighter with that right off the bat and make, darker water, stained water, cloudy water, kind of go bright like the gaudy, Hunsey tail bait that I showed you. If the water's a little bit cleaner, or more clear, then I'm going more natural, but I do love, kind of like Gus said, golds, coppers. You still want some sort of a flash in there. Even, nickel mixed with some other colors is good too. So I guess, yeah, that would be pretty much what I would go with. I guess I'm kind of the same way too. Like I'm going to have a bait, I'm probably going to, depending on, I don't even know where we're going yet. It really depends on, where these fish are with the spawn down there, because when on the Green Bay, it's such a huge system, and you just keep traveling further north if you want to get, closer to the spawn or fish that might still be in the tributaries because spawn just wrapped up. So that my buddies down there are kind of scouting around and watching fish, and they pulled eggs out of the muskies, out of the fox like 2 weeks ago already. So the fish are done spawning there. There's still going to be fish in there, but a lot of them maybe have already gravitated out unless there's a lot of bait in there for them. If you go all the way up to like Sturgeon, the Sturgeon River, whatever, water temp's to like 46 up there. So those fish, actually, some just started showing up shallow, but very few. And that was earlier this week. And we did have a lot of nice warm weather this week. So I'm sure that's progressed quite nicely. Now, again, we're going to get a cold front up here in the Northwoods. They're also going to get a cold front down there. It looks like next week, for the most part of the week, it's going to be like 55 for a high, lows in like the low 40s. So I don't think it's going to be cold enough to really shut them down. The ones that have moved in, I don't think they're going to like stop and move back out. If fish haven't moved in yet, in some of these spots, they might not, or they might not start until the weather warms back up towards the end of the week and next weekend again. So I guess that really depends on, where we end up going as far as making, my decisions as to what I'm going to start with for colors and, baits and whatnot.
Sure. All right. Well, I tell you what, guys, it's some good info there. Guys can maybe get some ideas for the upcoming season and see what they're going to do. This is going to air for opener. What is that?
A grandma.
Is that a 6-inch grandma?
Yeah. I was going to talk. Yeah, that's what I mean about making it move quick, but not far. Quit baits.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just put a picture of me running up there after soap. What is Gus? If somebody would want to go fishing with you, I don't know why.
Not sure either.
How can they get a hold of you?
Unsure, but I got space in the boat and try to catch some muskies here and there. So you can get a hold of me at 920-264-3816. All the info on my guide trips are on www.sugsfishing.com, SUGS fishing. And then we also have social media, Facebook, Instagram, Sugs Fishing, and then also a lot of info. A little shameless plug, the Muskies on Tap podcast on all the podcasting platforms, and then also Facebook and Instagram, where we have had Gregg on, I think probably 4 times. We've had Clayton on. I think he's still the most frequented guest, around, I don't know, 10, 11, something like that.
Clayton's pretty much the pictures I send you.
Yeah.
Who's keeping track anyways? I'm just winning all the time. That's all.
Clayton's winning. But yeah, we post that weekly on Thursday morning. So check it out. That would be great. And thanks for having me on as well, Gregg.
All right. Clayton, what about you?
Yeah. If you want to get out in the boat with me, chase some muskies around this year, still plenty of openings. Get a hold of me. Call or text 715-891-1046. You can look me up on Facebook at Clayton Spiess or at Thistle Do Outdoor Adventures and shoot me a message on there. I have Instagram at Clayton Spiess and then a YouTube channel. You can comment on the videos if you want, but I got a whole bunch of stuff on there. I am starting to put a little bit back up again now that I got some of my videos back from last year after losing a hard drive. Which
It's always fun.
Yeah, that's why I don't have any videos for you today because most of that stuff's all gone. So, yeah, still plenty of openings. Love to get you out in the boat, catch some fish, have a great time. And again, thanks for having me on. Again, chat it up.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. Again, anyone listening or watching, make sure you look at these guys' social media and check it out. If you want to go fishing, you're going to have a great time with both these guys. If you want to come up to Lake of the Woods, I still got a few days open up there. Go play around. Got some stuff in early October and late June, and then I'll be down in southern Minnesota to do the central Minnesota to do some live bait fishing and screwing around. So yeah, let's look at that. You can always get a hold of me through any of the Battle Beast media stuff and Musky Road Rules. So guys, thanks for coming on. I'm going to end this. I want you to hang on for just a little bit, okay?
Can do. Thanks, Greg.